It is week one of the Prep Sports Report on Lakeshore PBS. Tonight, we focus on boys and girls high school basketball and have a special feature on girls high school wrestling. All that coming up next on Lakeshore PBS.
Doing as much as you can, as quickly as you can, is important to me. Life is short, and the earlier we get started helping our community, the better off our community will be.
Alrighty, it is week one of Prep Sports here on Lakeshore PBS. We start off tonight with some girls high school basketball. And our first game to preview is Michigan City and Crown Point. We thought it was going to be a rebuilding year for the Crown Point Lady Bulldogs. But recently they're improving, and I was really impressed with how they played Lake Central.
As a matter of fact, we only have two ranked teams in the region. Lake Central is one of them, and Crown Point played them tough. So That is good news if you're a CP fan.
Michigan City, 5-9 as they come in tomorrow night. Won 3 out of their last 4.
Yeah, Policia Isom is averaging 15 points per game. She's been a real strong player for Michigan City this year.
I think the problem tomorrow might not much be offense, but you know, as we talked about before we came on, Crown Point is forcing a lot of turnovers.
And that's what you have to do. When you lose 2 of the best players at Northwest Indiana from last year, defensively, you got to step your game up, especially when February comes around.
And speaking of defensively, that's Amira Ware with a nice steal and breakaway. So Michigan City brings the defensive intensity as well, but they also share the ball.
Yeah, they what?
They share the ball. It's a concept in basketball. And see
Wow.
the assist there to Policia Isom as well with a nice shot there at top of the key.
I hope the boys are taking notes on this. Share the basketball. And they also have quickness on this team, too.
Yeah.
Drove the baseline, get the basket right there. By the way, defensive note for that person in red, don't ever give up the baseline. But that being said, nice play by Michigan City.
There's a nice defensive steal. They're sharing the ball.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So they're showing that defensive prowess that might be able to slow Crown Point down.
Mm-hmm.
All right, there you see Michigan City, their top scorers, and defense will be important for them against Crown Point. How about the Lady Bulldogs?
Speaking of defense,
11-7 on the season after losing a tremendous group of young ladies who played for them the last 2 years.
Yeah, they've lost a lot of productivity from this team, but there's been a lot of talent there behind that productivity, and an excellent coach in Chris Seiberts. This team, there's a reason why they've won state championship recently, and it's because of the efficiency and the overall athletic ability here for this team.
and a lot of these girls played last year, so they do have experience varsity-wise. That's going to help them this season.
But it's just different roles. I think Ava Zolkowski is a young lady that played maybe the most, and she's taken on a bigger role as a scorer.
She's embraced that leadership ability, and she's averaging 18 points per game and shooting 53% from the field. So she's high volume and she's scoring at a high clip.
You know, the Stoddard girl went to Purdue.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting you to know whether she's playing at all.
Well, you know what? I haven't had too keen of an eye on that, but I'll say this much.
That's your assignment for next
I will do some research, but I will say this much, that we are very glad to have all the talent we can get.
Yes. Well, the women's team at Purdue is doing better this year.
Absolutely.
And the men's team's doing pretty good, too.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, you know, what can I say about that? That's pretty good. Pretty excited about that to be a boy.
That's not a compliment to a Purdue person. What's wrong with me?
Yeah, what is wrong with you?
People ask that often. But check out the rebounding there for Crown Point.
Wow.
They will beat you on the glass if you don't hit the rebound against them. And defensively, they're pretty good, too, this season.
All right, let's see the prediction. I liked Crown Point over Michigan City. I think the Bulldogs are improving and, you know, are getting better here into January. Give Michigan City some motivation.
I think so, and we've already seen that Michigan City has a lot of skills. They are playing some good defense. Is it enough defense to chip away at that 20-point prediction? We'll see.
Let's not remind me if it isn't, okay? All right, how about some Valpo Portage girls? Another game on the slate tomorrow night.
And here's a basketball team in Valparaiso that really had it going on. They were winning every game, and then came the injuries in late December that kind of threw them off, including one of their better players.
Yeah, Becca Gert averaging 14 points per game. She's injured. She's going to be out here. Valpo, a very skilled team with a lot of experience on this roster. They're going to have to fill that void there because 14 points per game is an awful lot.
Valpo 14-1, lost to Penn. Got one of the best freshmen in the state. I think you can go ahead and you're not going to go out and win there when you're saying that.
No, you're not. She leads the team in scoring, rebounding, assists, the whole
Here she
9
comes.
yards. Yeah, and she
skills.
can handle the basketball.
Beautiful spin
Yeah.
move in the lane, finishing in traffic. That's an excellent play.
And her coach says that she doesn't I think we've seen it already, she doesn't exactly act like a freshman. She can run the floor.
That was Becca Gert there with that finish. She is going to have an opportunity to kind of be a leader from the bench here through her injury, but it's definitely something that Valpo needs to fill that missing piece, and I think they have the talent to do it.
And you see the young lady right there, 15.
Yeah.
Her coach says that she's good enough to coach the team by herself. She's that good. Yeah.
Kristen Bacata from downtown. She's
An excellent shot.
signed with Elmhurst to continue her basketball career. Averaging 18 steals a game, Valpo. That's what kind of pops out at you right there.
That is a huge number, not only for steals, but for forced turnovers. That is an excellent sign for Valparaiso going forward.
And I'll bet you about a third of those steals are by the freshman.
Yeah,
I'll bet you she's having herself a
she's
great
the real deal.
Yeah.
All right, let's check out a little Portage. They come in to this game 9-8 on the season.
Now, they do have some momentum behind them. They have won 3 out of their last 5 games, so they may be an underdog here, but they're definitely in a position to have some positive transactions going in their way.
And
Nice rebound.
You don't have a problem going to the basket either. You got it like that.
Alante Wright for 2.
Look at that teamwork there, and the give and go 3-pointer from the corner by Ava Melendez. That's an excellent play.
And they pass the ball. And how many times have we talked about that on this broadcast today? They look for the open girl, try to find a person who's open for a good shot. That's going to help them in any game they play this year.
Good dish off there to Evelyn Garza. This Portage team plays a very strong brand of team basketball. We're seeing these assists, we're seeing the drives, but we're also seeing deadly from beyond the arc, and that's what they need to keep that this game close. The 3-pointer is the great equalizer, right? Mm-hmm. And they have the ability to drain them.
Saw Angelica Diwali with a knockdown 3. Here's a steal by Angelica.
What a play. Finishing in traffic with 2 defenders on her, incredible play.
And Portage, a team that will rebound too. I mean, you got to give them credit. 29 per game, not bad at all. They average 49 points per game. They've got the combination that can really knock off some very good basketball teams.
So this was my prediction for this game. I figured 58-45. I know that Valpo is a little short-handed and Portage has a lot of momentum behind them, but I just think that right now, the way these 2 teams are playing, that's where we're going to wind up.
I think, too, Valpo's probably still not past that adjustment period of playing without their starter there.
It's only been a week.
Yeah, right. I mean, obviously practice you can do it as a little, but playing in games, I think defensively now Portage will be able to, focus more, maybe even on Barnes.
We'll have to see. It's a next woman up type scenario, and who's gonna step up? We're gonna find out.
All right, let's move to the boys. The traditional January first Friday night game between Couts and North Judson.
Couts is a wonderful little town where I happen to call home after my time in Valparaiso, but also their basketball team is the passion of the town.
Yeah.
There's 2,000 people that live in Couts, but I tell you what, that gym is filled almost every night.
Spencer Andrews for 2. There he is again. Nice move. We saw Matthew Baker knock down a shot. They're 3-0 in the PCC.
Yes, they are, and they have lost a lot of talent over the last couple years. Of course, 2 years ago they did make a run downstate, but now they are these younger players that were on that team are now taking that leadership position. And look at that wonderful play there by Gabe Mathis, because that is an excellent team brand of ball.
Yeah, Kevin Duzan does a great job of coaching. You either do it the right way or you have a seat on the bench. And basically, even though he's got a whole bunch of kids up there from 2 years ago, they're still winning basketball games.
Yeah, Coach Duzan is highly respected in the community for all he's done of A, being a successful coach and a good teacher, but B, doing what's right and making sure that these kids are playing the right brand of basketball, and it's showing so far.
They're not a high-scoring team, but I do like what we've seen in these highlights. It looks like they have balance. They have 3 or 4 guys all scoring.
Yeah, and that's something that you want from a team like this. There is maybe not a superstar on this squad, but it's definitely something that, hey, if you score 10 today and I score 10 today, anyone on this roster can go off for a little bit of scoring. That makes the game more threatening for the opponent.
North Judson's been a team that hasn't got a lot of hype this year, even though they've had the 7-2 record.
Right.
Coming in. They've been off to a really good start this season, and let's check them out. They're 7-2, as I said, and they've also they average 60 points a game, so they're looking to play a little more up-tempo, get more shots off the floor.
Yeah, and they've won 3 out of their last 5 games as well. So this is a team that's filled with athletes. We know that the San Pierre community has a lot of good athletes there, and they're showing it so far.
Boy, beautiful shot from downtown.
And I like the fact that they went to the hoop on one play, and then on the very next play, they show their outside shooting ability. This is a team that's well-rounded, and they're going to be tough to beat.
That's Quinn Bales there with the turnaround jumper.
We saw Ty Shoemaker with 3, and here's a jumper from Quinn Bales again. They got Cheyenne Allen. Obviously he had a long football season with North Judson going to the semi-state. So he might be rounded into form basketball-wise as well.
That was Kelson Jordan with a dagger from the corner.
Again, another team with balance.
Yeah, and outside shooting ability. I mean, the balance is great, no doubt about it, but if you can hit that outside shot on a consistent basis, you can really make an opponent very nervous.
So they are averaging 60 points per game. It shows in their highlights. They are efficient. They are making a lot of tough shots that are even contested. They're doing it in the lane, and they're doing a great job.
And I'm going with Couts by 10, 65-55. How come you didn't pick any games?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Danger.
So I like North Judson by 10. Our last boys game we're going to check out is Whiting and Lake Station. Tommy even begged his way out of picking this game.
Well, yeah, I definitely wanted to because of, a little bit of favoritism here I wanted to avoid. Because everybody that plays Lake Station will lose 100-0 if you let me make the picks.
Sean Donaldson, we've seen in the highlights, he looks like an outstanding point guard.
He is fluid out there. He finds the open man, and he's a really good player there. He's actually averaging 18.6 points.
Wow.
So he's not just distributing, he's scoring at a high clip as well.
We saw Nolan Toth knock down a J. There's another corner J.
Yeah, that was Jeremiah Allard there with that jump shot.
Yeah, this guy, you can tell
he's got a future ahead of him playing basketball, it
deal.
appears. He's an excellent ball player.
How many times have we said with this team, they're hitting the outside jumper. They're doing it a lot in this
post
highlight.
up.
Here
He's
comes
going a little
another
Paul
one.
Mulcahy there, Ben. Going into the post.
Too soon.
Nolan Toth. Sorry. I couldn't resist. There you go. Nolan Toth.
So you're seeing a team that has struggled a little bit record-wise, but if you look at their offensive sets, they're really efficient. They're finding the open man on the swing passes, and they're hitting all their shots. They're only averaging 48 points per game, but they are rebounding an excellent clip for them.
And they're going to have to average more than 48 when they take on Lake Station because the Eagles do tend to put a few points on the board.
8-1. Who did Lake Station lose to?
I have no idea. I have no comment on that comment. No, it was Westside, was it?
Might have been.
It was Gary Westside, yeah. And that's a good thing for Lake Station because if you recall, there was a lot of pressure on them unbeaten going into the month of February, and
Last year, right.
Yeah, last year.
Right.
And as it turned out, they got that lost lead, and then they wound up losing again in the sectional.
Right. All right, let's check out Lake Station, 3-0 in the Greater South Shore Conference. Our guy, Willie Miller, outstanding high school basketball player.
And he's led this team to an 8-1 start, which is really impressive. They're playing some good ball.
Yeah, and they're not playing weak schedules either. They're
No.
playing some of the good teams because they want to be prepared for the month of March. But they've got not the size of last year's team, but they still have people that can get
Still
rebounds.
big.
That was
Yeah,
Travis
they're still
Randolph.
big. Yeah, not bad at
You
all.
know, they are still big.
And there, my man from the corner knocks that out. He had himself a big
Yep,
game
that's
last week.
Adam Eastland.
Adam
Yeah.
Eastland, yes.
Just drilling the shots from the corner there. That was Willie Miller that we have already mentioned.
And you're going to hear a lot of different names, and that's the good thing about this basketball team. And that's Miller again, but Eastland can hit baskets if necessary. They've got other guys on that team that can get it done. As a matter of fact,
Oh,
Eastland had a
man.
big
Ooh,
game
look
last
at that.
He
week.
knew the camera was there.
Oh, yeah.
He said, I'm going to go to this corner. That's where the camera's at.
So look at the height of this squad. They have a lot of
Yeah.
good size and a lot of good physiques on their team. They're strong, athletic individuals. This is an excellent team.
They
and
got they got the shorter guy playing inside, Armani Gonzalez.
Because
Yeah.
he's strong. He's strong. He can handle it.
And Armani came up with the big shot the game before the one we just saw. It was like a 3-point shot from the right side to win the game, and it just goes to show that it's not just Willie Miller.
So this was my pick here, since Tommy did not want to pick his Lake Station team. I've got Lake Station 63, Whiting 45. I think that Lake Station will be just a little bit too much for Whiting.
I could have said that.
You could have said that.
You could have. All right. Time for our feature. Did you know, because I didn't a month ago or 3 months ago, that girls high school wrestling is a thing?
No.
I didn't. You know now.
I know now.
You
yeah.
didn't know then.
No, I didn't.
We all didn't know that.
So it's growing in popularity,
Yes.
right? So we've got a handful of programs here. I think Hobart's had it for a couple years.
Yes.
Valpo has. This is a program that's really exciting, and the girls seem to love it.
Yeah, Crown Point has a girls team, Portage, Maryville. But we went out and we checked out the Hobart girls wrestling team.
So this is the Hobart girls wrestling team. Right now, girls wrestling is an emerging sport in Indiana. So we are only considered a club, and I'd say 2 to 3 years it'll be a full sanctioned sport with its own state tournament, all run through by the IHSAA.
I'm a junior of 2024, and this is my first time ever wrestling. I wrestled in elementary school when I was maybe 5 or 6, but brand new to this sport.
For high school wise, it's just getting more kids active, more kids just getting involved with their school. It's like if they're not playing basketball, basketball team's so small. Wrestling, we kind of just take everyone and we say, hey, if you can survive, you're a part of the team. Just show up every day. I feel like wrestling really just helps teach you guys self-discipline. You get what you put in for, is what we always tell them.
Obviously, it's a team sport. You're on a team with other girls, but it's what you want to do, how good you want to be. So I feel like it's just showing the best version of yourself, how good you want to be, how good you want to show everyone else you are.
We keep getting more and more girls. I've been coaching for quite a while, and the number of girls on the team has been increasing. And right now, girls just kind of want to wrestle other girls. And I feel like right now we're at a point, especially with the Olympics and colleges all getting girls teams, that we just need more girls in wrestling. And they feel more comfortable wrestling other girls than they do with a lot of boys. They feel like they get kind of outmatched by boys who've been wrestling for a long time. They just want to learn with someone who's also a beginner.
My brothers have always wrestled, so I've always seen them. So everyone was like, J-Lo, why don't you give it a shot? So here I am. I think it's really cool because for girls, wrestling is often intimidating. So getting out here and doing it with other girls, it makes it a little less scary. So I think if you're a freshman, you should give it a go because I've had a blast so far. I do wish it was here earlier so I would have got to experience it a little bit longer.
It was kind of hard, I'm not gonna lie, because like wrestling's just like a different type of pace. It's super fast paced, you're always doing something. Like it's 6 continuous minutes of wrestling straight on with someone, just working hard. So it's definitely a change compared to like my other sports I play. So it's just like getting used to like the breathing type of it, like always constantly doing something.
I love how conditioned it makes me. I play soccer and I run track, and they do not compare. This is on a completely different level in regards to like the strength you need to have with your body and how conditioned you need to be. Like I've played 80-minute soccer games, and this is by far way harder, even though it's only 6 minutes.
For them, we've just been trying to hype it up as like, this is like in history our first girls wrestling team. So like we said, 30 years down the road, maybe they'll call you guys back and be like, this was the first team, you guys paved the road for them. So now we have like this full wrestling team, and it's all because you ladies all showed interest. And then now, here we are later on, we have more girls involved.
I think it's awesome that our school is doing something like this, like giving the girls a chance to show that like, hey, we can do the same thing the boys can do. Because like, I know a lot of other schools, like girls are on the boys team, but I feel like just getting us our own team is like showing us like, hey, we can do that too. Like we're just as good, and just showing like what girls can do. I hope this program can go far. I hope it continues to get a lot of girls. This is a first-year team, and we have maybe like 20, 24 girls. I just hope it continues to grow, continues to get bigger, and more people come out and see how fun it is.
It is a huge mental game. Like, you need to have a really strong mental attitude in order to get this done. And it also is making me a stronger person. I've never really had much strength, but now I feel like I could say I'm a little bit stronger ever since I joined wrestling. I feel like we have an awesome coach. I feel like he has a lot of patience because we are all so new, and a lot of us have no idea what we're doing. So I feel like he does a really great job taking time to teach us what we need to know and just being patient. I hope that this keeps going because I think it's so cool. I think girl wrestlers are cool, and yeah, it's just really awesome to be able to be a part of the first ever team and make history.
All right, that was an awesome feature. And then we've
Impressive.
got a few minutes left here, so we've got to get to the girls basketball poll and the boys basketball poll for this week on the Prep Sports Report. Well, Valpo lost, so let's see if there's changes in this poll.
Who does the drum roll?
Go ahead. Crown Point is 10, North Judson 9, KV at 6, Morgan, Washington Township. What about the top 5? Oh, and I think that's right. Valpo at 14 and 1 should probably still be number 1.
You've got Highland and Munster and Andrean, a lot of good programs here at 4, 3, and 2. Valparaiso at number 1. It could be because of the record right now, because there's obviously a lot of fight and a lot of strong teams ahead of her. That's why we play the games.
Yeah.
We're going to see how this goes out, but right now Valpo's earned it.
Lake Central's played a tremendous schedule,
Absolutely.
too. That's one of the reasons why they've got 4 losses. Ileana Christian on the boys' side. That's one of Lake Station's rivals, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, they're playing some good basketball as well.
You got Chester and Valpo at 10, or Chester at 10, Valpo at 9. They're pretty evenly matched. You got Morgan and Maryville in there, and Ileana Christian doing what they need to do to get number 6.
Chesterton's probably going to be moving up. They played a tremendous schedule also over break. I think they played Carmel, but so did Valpo. I think Valpo played Carmel too. Hammond Central is 12 and 1 with a big win over 21st Century. I wasn't happy about that. But the Cougars are 9 and 3 on the season. Munster and Coach Hackett back at it. They've had a tremendous start to the year. Lake Central boys doing very well. I think LC beat Munster last week or 2 ago.
And we have Lake Station, who we've already seen. Look at all
Did you do
those.
the poll?
No, not this. While we're on the subject of Lake Station, let me also congratulate different team, Cece Goss of the girls team. She picked up her 1,000th career point.
No, that's
All
great.
right, there you
That's
go.
great. Congratulations.
All
Congratulations.
right. Are you handing her a basketball tomorrow night or no?
No, I think they did it already.
Okay. All right, how about some upcoming games this week in high school basketball? Some of the ones we talked about, LC and LaPorte on the girls' side. That'll be a good one. And as you said, Tommy, Crown Point and Munster.
That's going to be a fun matchup. Get your tickets now.
And Drain and Lowell, that's a rivalry game. They obviously know each other very well.
Elsewhere, some other games. Boys side, City and Crown Point, Maryville, Chesterton. That'll be a good one.
And by the way, congratulations to Maryville. They bounced back from a not-so-Maryville season from last year, doing well this year.
They are. I picked it up a little bit. And the Battle of the Bridge in basketball, Munster and Highland.
They don't paint that bridge anymore, do they?
I don't think so.
Oh,
Not in the
okay.
winter, at least.
Oh, good idea.
All right, we will see you again next Thursday night. Don't forget, you can watch all these videos. If you missed a show and you saw somebody's, athlete on television, and you want to call somebody, call them, because all these videos go on our Facebook page. Lakeshore Prep Sports at facebook.com. You can check out the Hobart wrestling feature, all the highlight packages tonight that we're running here in Northwest Indiana. And I know that happens a lot because we see the posts up there where they call somebody's name and say, hey, look.
Right. And that's how I consume a lot of our media here. I check it out on Facebook. I check it out on YouTube, what we have posted there. This is an excellent opportunity for you to show your friends, hey, I was on television on Thursday night.
I definitely think tomorrow night you need to say, Willie, did you see yourself
Exactly.
knocking down those threes
We know
out
his
of the
dad
corner?
will. Yeah, his dad
all right.
will. Yeah.
All right, we'll see you next Thursday night. Good night.
Doing as much as you can, as quickly as you can, is important to me. Life is short, and the earlier we get started helping our community, the better off our community will be.